Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to Accelerated Health TV and Radio Show. I'm your host, Sara Banta. I'm a wife, a busy mom of three, and the founder of the cutting-edge supplement brand, Accelerated Health Products. This podcast is more than just a source of information. It's a community for you to seek your optimal health, and there is a way to do it. I release new episodes every Monday and Tuesday, so remember to subscribe and add to your playlist so you never miss a show. We also throw in a Thursday show. It's a bonus, and maybe another one too. Depends on the week. So join my free group health coaching as well on Telegram. The details can be found on my website, SaraBantaHealth.com. There's no downside. I answer your questions. I post daily. You constantly learn and realize there's a reason to take care of your health. My goal is to reach everyone with the message of healing. So help me with this goal by sharing this podcast with your friends and loved ones, especially this one. We are talking about heart health. And you know, your heart is involved with everything, right? Heart disease truly has become the pandemic over the last few years, hitting all demographics, young and old. We've heard of a lot of young kids having heart issues, right? Well, personally, I found out the hard way about the importance of nutrition for heart health when my 17-year-old son, yes, the same one that at the age of 9 had leukemia, he was healthy. You know, we got his immune system strong, not getting sick, no more cancer. And he was training for nationals and crew. And he's training. There's something that we call in my family, the mom side personality, that we don't go just 100%, we go 1,000%. And my son's got that gene. Well, he was training like an Olympian, and he was having heart palpitations. Well, why would a healthy boy have heart palpitations? It got to the point where I was woken up at 2 a.m. with him pounding on his bathroom wall. And then I show up in his bathroom and he's pounding on his chest to get his heart going. His heart had actually stopped. So why was he having this issue? No more cancer. The boy never even got sick anymore. And this was pre-COVID. He never even got sick when his friends were, you know, in the car and carpooling and all of that and had the flu. Never had any issues. Well, his heart was an electrical system and it was out of balance. So we're going to get into that, and I will touch on his story at the end. So what could be causing heart disease? Insulin resistance. And I would beg to bet that at least 80% of you are suffering from insulin resistance, prediabetes, or type 2 diabetes. Insulin resistance is a condition in which the body's cells become less responsive to the effects of insulin, a hormone that regulates blood sugar. And as we're learning, it's not just about the cakes and the cupcakes that you're eating. There's a lot more that goes into regulating blood sugar. But according to Dr. Robert Lustig, who has been on my show, insulin resistance at the liver leads to type 2 diabetes. Insulin resistance at the heart leads to heart disease, and they go hand in hand. And how many people in your life with heart disease also have insulin resistance, also have fatty liver, also have that belly fat, right? And maybe brain fog or Alzheimer's or on the road to dementia? They're all related. These are all metabolic diseases. So this resistance can lead to elevated blood sugar levels, and that's associated with metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes. They're closely linked together because insulin resistance is the primary factor in developing type 2 diabetes, and individuals with diabetes have an elevated risk of cardiovascular complications, including heart disease. Insulin resistance is also associated with dyslipidemia, characterized by high levels of triglycerides and low levels of high density lipoprotein, or HDL, or the good cholesterol. This lipid profile is a risk factor for coronary artery disease and atherosclerosis. So when we're looking at our blood tests, because I get this question so often, even from my best friends who actually know a lot about health, they'll say, Sarah, my cholesterol's too high. Well, what does that mean? Your HDL should be high. And the higher your HDL is, the higher your total cholesterol is. So how can the doctor say you have high cholesterol if part of that is because your HDL, or your good cholesterol, is high? And LDL is being shown to not be a risk factor, but it's the VLDL and other types of cholesterol. But what you want to look at is triglycerides, and triglycerides is in reflection to that blood sugar. So those are the numbers. So inflammation is another part of both insulin resistance and heart disease. Insulin resistance is linked to that chronic low-grade inflammation, and that is part of the development and progression of these cardiovascular conditions. Insulin resistance also can contribute to a dysfunction in the endothelium, the inner lining of the blood vessels. This dysfunction is associated with impaired blood vessel relaxation and increased risk of heart disease. Hypertension. So insulin resistance is often accompanied by high blood pressure, and that's a major risk factor. And then I mentioned the central obesity, the one around the visceral, the organs, that visceral fat, the fatty liver disease. This is dangerous, you guys. The fat on your booty, the fat on your thighs, not so dangerous, right? That just maybe doesn't look so great. And sometimes people actually like the look of it. But we're talking about the belly fat. That is the stress fat, the cortisol fat. That is the fat that is linked to the increased risk of cardiovascular disease. And then insulin resistance is also associated to blood clotting. And that is it will increase the risk of blood clots that are going to lead to the heart attacks and the strokes. Lastly, insulin resistance is associated with a reduced production of nitric oxide. And Dr. Nathan Bryan was on our show talking about the importance of nitric oxide. If you missed that show, you've got to go back and listen to it. Nitric oxide could be the reason you have erectile dysfunction and you need Viagra. Imagine that. And listen to this. Most people that are on statin drugs need Viagra. There's a reason, because it's affecting nitric oxide. It's also affecting your cholesterol levels, because cholesterol is needed for your hormones. So there's a little teaser. Now, liver health and heart health are connected. That's why I always stress you gotta love your liver. The liver plays a central role in metabolizing fats, and an unhealthy liver may lead to the accumulation of fat in the liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. This is huge right now, and it's growing at exponential rates. It's an excess of fat that contributes to insulin resistance and an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. They go hand in hand. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, insulin resistance, and heart disease. All three. Right? So if you've got one, you probably have all three. The liver is involved in regulating cholesterol levels in the body. That's why when people do liver flushes and they go through my accelerated liver flush cleanse or the Ascent Diet Cleanse, their cholesterol levels will come down, because we're flushing out all that excess cholesterol and the bad cholesterol that we are wanting to get rid of. The liver dysfunction can disrupt this regulation, leading to imbalances in cholesterol levels, which are risk factors for heart disease. And the liver produces proteins involved in blood clotting. So if you have liver disease, it's going to affect this production and cause cardiovascular events. The liver helps regulate hormones. That's why people who are complaining about estrogen dominance or their hormones being out of whack, I tell them to clean their liver. They got to love their liver. Disruption in hormonal balance due to liver dysfunction can also affect the heart. So we're not just talking about feeling like a woman if you're a man, or just carrying that excess estrogen weight, and we're talking about the bad estrogens, but it actually can impair your heart health. And the liver is also part of the circulatory system. So it receives blood from the digestive organs, and changes in the liver function can affect the blood flow and impact overall circulation. So how's your circulation? Do you have the varicose veins? Do you have poor circulation in your hands and your feet? Now, that's also associated with your thyroid, right? So both the liver and the cardiovascular disease, they are related. If you've got issues with one, you probably have issues with another. Now, in 2024, we have this new factor that is affecting every health condition, and that is the spike protein. And I have to be careful with what I say here, but I'm sure you've noticed the amount of heart conditions and heart incidences in the news and in your realm of friends and family have increased significantly in the last 4 years. And the experts have linked an increase in heart attack or stroke risk for those exposed to the spike protein, especially for those who already have an underlying health condition or heart condition. And they also revealed that when exposed to the infection, macrophages release cytokines, specifically inflammatory signaling proteins such as the interleukin 1 beta and interleukin 6. And these cytokines were identified as having connections to heart attacks. And so this is what is going on. So take that as it is. We are all affected. We are all exposed to the spike protein regardless of who you are. So this affects you. Now, looking at arrhythmia and heart palpitations like my son, let's get back to him, right? So the heartbeat is the result of your heart's cardiac pacemaker sending electrical impulses, prompting contractions in the heart muscle to make the muscle pump, right? Okay, so these contractions push blood to the lungs, creating oxygen to carry to the cells throughout the body and return it to the heart. Then it starts over again. At the cellular level, you're getting an exchange of electrolytes, the inside and outside of the cells, specifically potassium, calcium, sodium, and magnesium. Potassium and sodium balance each other out, and you've got the potassium sodium pump, and then calcium and magnesium balance each other. Any calcium supplement, got to be careful with. I don't believe people should be taking calcium supplement. You've got enough calcium in your body. It's in all the wrong places. Calcium in the joints causes arthritis or bone spurs. Calcium in the heart can cause a heart attack. It can constrict. Calcium constricts, right? And magnesium relaxes. So they balance out each other. The balance of the electrolytes, specifically minerals, they will have different pHs, and that causes this electrical charge and balance to help the heart function in a rhythmic manner. So what was going on with my son? He was eating well, and he was not eating like an Olympic training athlete. That's the problem. He was not taking in enough electrolytes, and his body was low in sodium and potassium. Now, what was wrong is that I was told by a medical practitioner to lower his salt. So as a mom, I should be put in jail because I literally lowered his salt when I actually should have been raising his salt and potassium. But what was so interesting is that on his blood test or on his scan, the sodium amount never changed when we took down the salt in his diet. Why? Because the body's smart. If the body knows you're not going to give it sodium, what's it going to do? It's going to hold on to every little ounce of it. Same reason that when you're trying to diet and lose weight, your body says, oh, she's only giving me 1,000 calories. I'm going to hold on to every single calorie. Your body wants to survive. So this is what was going on with him. We increased his electrolytes. We increased his salt intake with the accelerated ancient salt, full of all 62 minerals, not just sodium. And did his blood test show an increase in sodium? No, because his body said, oh, well, now I'm getting plenty of sodium and other electrolytes. I will freely let them go when I don't need anymore because I trust that I'm going to get more. Okay, so without sufficient electrolytes, you can experience missing heartbeats, extra beats, or even halting of the heartbeat. And that's what was happening to him. So what could be causing heart palpitations? Digestion. When you eat, you can experience palpitations during the sluggish gallbladder, putting pressure on the bile ducts, creating consequential bloating. And this is why we got to love our liver, because we're flushing out those stones, all of that sludge and that bile out of the gallbladder. You will feel amazing because you're getting all of that stuff out of the way. And this area is so close to the cardiac system, it can lead to palpitations. You could also have low potassium. And this main electrolyte controls the pacemaker. It can be caused by a diuretic, diarrhea, antacids, low vitamin D, and a diet abstinent in potassium. High insulin levels, like we were talking about with blood sugar, can deplete the body of potassium as well. Electrolytes including potassium, are found in the green vegetables, avocados, animal proteins. Yes, you're getting your electrolytes in that wild animal protein that I always talk about. Now, the grains and the high carb foods not only don't have these minerals or the electrolytes, but they actually steal them from the body when you eat them. A higher insulin and eventually insulin resistance is going to limit the body's ability to absorb the nutrients as well. So that's where it's almost like a domino effect of going in the wrong direction when you're eating the high carb foods and you have insulin resistance, or you're eating the processed foods. If your pH is too alkaline or too high, well, we've been told alkalinity is good for the body. The reality is your body has different pH levels in the blood, the urine, the stomach, the saliva. If it were all the same, we would die. We would die. It's true that an alkaline diet can help balance the acidity from stress and other factors. But if your blood is above 7.45, your body is excessively alkaline, then the minerals don't move that well through the heart and the body. And the alkalinity can be caused by low potassium, high cortisol from stress, low HCl, which is needed in your gut to digest your food. And that's why we need the different alkalinity or pH everywhere, right? So stress is going to make us acidic. Stress is going to cause our bones to leach out the expensive alkaline calcium and other minerals. That's why stress is really bad for bone health. Okay, next, for heart health, alcohol. Alcohol may affect your heart in multiple different ways. It is known as a vasodilator, meaning it widens the blood vessels, which can lead to a drop in blood pressure. In response, the heart may beat faster to compensate for a decrease in blood pressure and resulting in those palpitations. Arrhythmias. So alcohol can disrupt the normal electrical signaling of the heart and lead to the arrhythmias, and they can manifest in palpitations, and they can cause more serious issues as well. And alcohol is a diuretic, meaning it increases the urine production and can lead to dehydration. And dehydration can affect the balance of the electrolytes in the body, including potassium and magnesium, which obviously are needed. Caffeine stimulates the central nervous system. It's also a diuretic. It also increases the heart rate, and it can disrupt the normal electrical activity of the heart, leading to arrhythmias. And it, like I mentioned, it's a diuretic. And so it's going to affect the balance of the electrolytes in the body, including potassium and magnesium. I drink my cup of coffee. I go in and out. But when I do, I make sure I follow it up with my pre-workout electrolyte mix. And I also use my accelerated salt and put it in my coffee or just on my tongue to make sure I am hydrated. Hyperthyroid, which is not a big issue. Most people are hypothyroid, but the thyroid affects the heart. So hyperthyroid can help or can cause an increase in heart palpitations, increase in heart rate, and just chest discomfort. So it can lead to tightening of the chest. So that is also something to think about. Coronary arteries. So this is a serious problem that can occur. It's clogging. If your coronary artery is clogged, the artery becomes inflamed in the wall of the artery. It will start collecting cholesterol, protein, and calcium to use as a band-aid to protect the inflammatory artery. Dietary cholesterol, your eggs are not the problem. The inflammation from the sugar, the grains, and cereals cause the wound, and the cholesterol is just trying to put the band-aid on it. It's like blaming the fire on the fireman. The fireman's there to put the fire out. The fireman didn't cause the problem. So this will start limiting the blood flow and could then create a clot. And eventually the clot will be dislodged. And what causes the oxidation and inflammation are the high levels of insulin, the inflammatory seed oils, the sugar, the processed foods. So that is something to think about. So what else? You've got the heart muscle. The heart vitamin E increases oxygen to the heart itself, so that's important. And the B vitamins are also important to help with cramping of the heart muscle. So making sure that you're not eating the refined grains, because those will strip you of those necessary nutrients. So what are the symptoms of heart disease risk? Chest pain. Okay, so obviously if your chest is hurting, you know it's probably heart related, right? But what else is left arm pain? You'll have some pain down the arm, left jaw and shoulder pain. So all of this side of the body, cold sweats, chronic coughing when you lay down, nausea, swelling in the lower legs, especially on the left. That's edema, right? And circulation issues, pitting edema, and fainting. Well, if you're fainting, you're not getting the blood and the circulation to your brain. Lack of energy just upon exertion, heavy legs when you're climbing stairs, visceral fat, that fat around the organs in the belly, and the high triglycerides. On your blood test, that's something to pay attention to. So what tests could you take to know your risks? You've got the coronary artery calcium test. This is probably the most important test. It measures the amount of calcium. Remember, I said calcium is in all the wrong places in the coronary artery around the heart, and you want that to be 0. You've got the A1C test, and this is a test for type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance. It measures your average blood glucose or blood sugar levels over the past 3 months, and the refined sugars and carbs, and even the healthy grains and gluten-free breads and the processed foods, anything in a package, increases that blood sugar and causes inflammation throughout the body, including the heart. The damage it causes is what cholesterol is used to patch up. Like I mentioned, cholesterol is not the issue. Cholesterol is the fireman at the scene of the fire. The sugar and the processed carbs are what start the fire. Then you can also test the VLDL and the triglycerides. And this is much more important to look at than the LDL and the HDL for cholesterol. Your body needs cholesterol to make its hormones. If your cholesterol is low and you're taking a statin, your testosterone is going to be low in women and men, and you're going to feel it. This is why your body produces the essential cholesterol that it isn't taking in through that dietary sources. The triglycerides are an indicator that you have too many inflammatory fats and sugars in your blood. So what do we do about it? What supplements can you take to help with your heart health? Well, they're kind of the same supplements that you need to take for your liver and your insulin resistance. And this is why I've created the Ascent Diet Cleanse. This comprehensive cleanse not only helps you with intermittent fasting by suppressing your appetite and curbing your cravings for sugars and refined carbs. And yes, fasting is a hormetic stressor. And for people under a lot of stress, adding stress to the body isn't good. So fasting might not be great for everybody. But when you take the supplements in the Ascent Diet Cleanse, you're lowering the stress because your body knows how to tap into its own fat stores. And so it relaxes. It actually increases your happy, relaxing GABA hormones and serotonin and dopamine. So the cleanse will help flush out the gallstones and the gallbladder sludge, which takes pressure off the cardiac system, and it will help lower your bad cholesterol and your triglycerides. So guess what? Supplements that will make your doctor happy with your blood test. Now, the number one supplement in here is the accelerated keto, which is right here. It is not needing a ketogenic diet. In fact, we are changing the name of this supplement because it's no longer associated with just a ketogenic diet, but it will help stop the cravings for food. It's going to lower that need to eat the foods that cause insulin resistance and cause the heart health decline. It's going to help with the intermittent fasting. Your body is going to kick into ketosis within 30 minutes. You're then going to feel like, okay, I can go for hours without eating because my body is actually eating its own fat stores. And it's actually going after that visceral fat and that fatty liver that we were talking about that are associated with heart disease. It's also going to reduce the inflammation throughout the brain and the body, help with the brain fog, but also help with the inflammation associated with heart disease as well. Then you're going to focus on eating protein and the healthy whole food carbs and the healthy fats according to what your body is needing. And through my group coaching, that's where I help you learn how to eat the proper macros. I hate that word macros because we just need to focus on whole food and food that is not processed. So it's going to defat the liver, improving the liver function, insulin resistance, reducing that fatty liver disease. It's also going to increase ATP production, which is your cell's energy, true cellular energy. And that is what is associated with longevity and making that, anti-aging. It's going to do that by at least 5 times. So it's really important to reduce the inflammation in the body, target that belly fat, that dangerous fat, and increase mitochondrial health. With that, you are going to use the accelerated iodine. The thyroid regulates the heart. Hypothyroidism leads to heart disease. Because thyroid health is directly dependent on iodine, it is that 4 and 3 and 2 molecules in the T4, T3, and T2 thyroid hormones. So if we don't have the iodine, how are we going to have our thyroid hormones, right? So iodine supplementation has been shown to prevent heart disease. Iodine protects us from EMFs, and that can also be damaging to all of our organs, including the heart. The accelerated liver flush at the end of it is actually going to flush those gallstones, liver stones out of the body, help the liver function improve and help with the heart health. I have to tell you, every time that I do a liver flush, I feel my metabolism go up, I feel my energy increase, and I actually feel my lung function and my breathing and my cardiovascular health improve, especially since the spike protein. I feel the spike protein in my heart and my lungs, and I work out every day. And so I'm able to test how my lungs feel, if they feel open or if they're feeling like constricted, right? So that ACE2 receptor function that is compromised by the spike protein is flushed out and is improved with the accelerated liver flush cleanse that is part of the Ascent Diet Cleanse. The ALT liver enzymes, the AST liver enzymes will improve. The damaged liver cells will be regenerated, and you will eliminate toxins, improve that metabolism, and help with that nutrient absorption. Because what else we're seeing is with the spike protein and fatty liver, you are actually getting a dampening of your protein and fat metabolism. So with that, you're eating these healthy fats and these healthy proteins, and your insulin resistance is going up or your blood sugar is going up because you're not metabolizing it and your body doesn't know what to do with it. So that is something to also think about. The accelerated ancient salt. So like I mentioned, this was key for my son because you've got that sodium potassium pump inside and outside the cells that gets the toxins out of the cells and the nutrients in, but it also helps with your heart. So there is no evidence suggesting that reducing high quality salt intake leads to a rise in heart failure or mortality rates. And on the contrary, decreasing salt in your diet may contribute to increased all-cause mortality. So many people are at risk of heart disease are already prescribed diuretics, which eliminate the salt from the body. So what do these heart medications do? They take the water out of the blood. So think about balsamic vinegar and then making it into a reduction. In the reduction, you're just essentially taking the liquid or the water out of it, and it now becomes molasses. So when you have to pump your blood, it's going to lower that blood pressure, but it's going to increase the work that the heart has to do. That's why heart attacks are actually a side effect of some of these heart medications. So it's really important to think twice about the medications and actually making some of the lifestyle changes, the dietary changes, and doing the proper salt supplementation and some of these other supplements. So approximately 25% of people often experience low sodium levels in their blood, rendering the diuretics less effective. And this can lead to a disproportionate retention of fluid to salt ratio as the body struggles to circulate the denser fluid resembling molasses. And remember, your body's smart. So if you're not giving it salt, what's it going to do? It's going to hold on to what it has. Accelerated ancient salt also has that strong negative charge that helps pull out the positive charge toxins, parasites, undigested fats, in addition to providing the needed electrolytes and minerals for heart health. It's pure, it's raw, it's untreated, it's hand mined. I actually just read another article on Himalayan salt that a lot of it is full of explosives, full of fluoride, which ours is not. And it's not what it says it is, unfortunately. Accelerated ancient salt is enhanced with the scalar frequencies to help detox the body, help with nausea, and like I said, it helps break down fat. So if you're nauseous after eating a high-fat meal, that's showing you that your gallbladder's backed up. Well, just putting a little salt on your tongue is going to help with the nausea. It's not going to help get rid of that sludge that you need to do the liver flush for that, but it's going to give you some temporary relief. Now, this is what I'm super excited about, is the N101 nitric oxide lozenges. Nitric oxide is potent for vasodilating, and that helps keep the arteries open and clean from plaque buildup. Low nitric oxide production is associated with all major cardiovascular risk factors. So it helps with the production of the nitric oxide. I can tell you that I put out my tongue and I suck on it as I'm doing my cardio in my workout. And I literally feel it in my veins and I feel it in my lungs, and my energy is much better. It's so great for all of those athletes out there. I mean, all of you athletes out there that are drinking tons of beet juice, number one, the beets are full of oxalates, so it's backfiring, but it's also not giving you the conversion into nitric oxide that you think you're getting. It's going to help the supply of oxygen and nutrients to the cells, help with your overall cardiovascular, help with erectile dysfunction, help with maintaining regular heart function, improve circulation and blood pressure. It will help with blood flow to the brain and various organs. It helps with antioxidant supply and helps with cognitive function and memory. And like I mentioned, helps alleviate erectile dysfunction. So that is one delivery system, is the lozenges. But then there's also the NO beets, which provides the full cardiovascular and nitric oxide benefits of beets, but without the oxalates, which is amazing. And it not only helps increase that nitric oxide for performance and cardiovascular health, but also increases ATP and rejuvenates each cell in the body. You can also add in berberine HCl. So this helps lower your blood sugar in addition to giving you the proper HCl to break down food. Berberine's been shown to work just as well as the prescription drug for metformin, which is given to a lot of you out there for insulin resistance. And insulin resistance leads to heart disease. So berberine HCl can be very helpful. Some people doing the Ascent Diet Cleanse like to add in the berberine HCl if their insulin resistance is significant. Olaloa. So this is my multivitamin that I love. It's multivitamin, electrolyte, and it also contains all of the nutrients for the heart health, including potassium, magnesium, the B complexes, but they're all methylated. A lot of you, over 50% of you, including me, have the MTHFR gene, which compromises our methylation. So we take these B vitamins, they back up our liver and do us wrong instead of doing us some good. The Olaloa takes that into consideration and methylates all the B vitamins so that you can absorb them. It supports physical exercise and helps strengthen the heart health. And vitamin D. You want to make sure you're getting your vitamin D. It regulates blood pressure, reduces inflammation in the blood vessels, helps with better blood flow and the risk of heart disease. Okay, so what do we do on top of that? You guys can't just take a pill. And I've got someone in my family, unfortunately, that won't listen to any of this and just wants to go get a pill from the doctor. And that's not going to work because with every pill, you're going to have a list of side effects. And then you're going to need to take more medication for those list of side effects. And then that pill is going to have another list of side effects. And no one knows how 3, 4, and 5 interact with each other, right? So this is the problem with those medications and the side effects. So we need to take this into our own hands and take some ownership. And you need to start incorporating lifestyle changes for heart health. The good news is the Ascent Diet Cleanse and the supplements, including the acceleridine, the accelerated thyroid, the accelerated keto. Those 3 supplements are going to increase your energy, your motivation, and your brain health so that you have the motivation to make the changes that we're about to talk about. Okay, some fasting, intermittent fasting. Intermittently, right? Not every day, reduces inflammation and supports ketosis, which is restorative for the heart. It takes the pressure off the digestive system, helps your reset, and that's especially the gallbladder. You want to focus on a whole food diet, low carb initially, but then you can intermittently add in the strategically whole carbs like the squashes, the sweet potatoes, the foods on the accelerated food guide that I have listed out hundreds of foods for you to look and see if you should be eating them or not. The ones that don't have histamines, don't have oxalates, don't have sulfur, or the wrong kinds of fats or the wrong kinds of proteins. So those are the 5 disruptors that we talk about. Wrong kinds of proteins, the amyloid proteins in chicken and conventional beef and the poultry, pork. You've got the seed oils and the fats that are the bad fats for the body. You've got the oxalates and you've got the sulfur and the histamines. And on my website, I have articles and podcasts on each one of those. So if you are sitting here going, I don't know what she's talking about, refer back to sarabantahealth.com. And also you can look at the accelerated food guide. So you want to stick to a lower carb diet depending on your output. My daughter working out 3 hours a day, she needs the carbs. She needs a lot more carbs than I do. I need a lot more carbs than my mom does because my mom is not doing what I'm doing. So that's where you have to take into account your output. Eliminate the seed oils. They're inflammatory, cause liver and gallbladder issues, put a ton of pressure on your heart. They are what are causing so much disease, and they're causing insulin resistance and inflammation at the cellular level. They have no sugar in them, but they're causing insulin resistance. So we have to eliminate these seed oils like the canola oil, peanut oil, And there's a list of those on my website as well. You can incorporate the olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. Those are all anti-inflammatory. But if you've got a ton of fat on your body, you don't want to overburden your body with fat, dietary fat. You want your body to start tapping into its own fat stores. And that wild animal protein, you want to use that as your main source of nutrients, because that is the most nutrient dense food. It's got the B vitamins, it's got the potassium and the electrolytes that we're talking about that we need for our heart health. That's the bison, lamb, deer, elk, grass-fed, grass-finished beef is fine. Wild fish, those are the foods we want to focus on. Exercising. You want to be exercising. You want to stress your heart a little bit, not too much, right? HIIT training is great a couple days a week, not chronic cardio. Remember, if you are running 8 miles a day, your body's smart. And it's going to say, okay, she's going to run another 8 miles today. I'm going to lower my metabolic rate and I'm just going to kind of coast here. I'm not going to build any new muscle. And I'm not going to lose any weight. I'm not going to tap into my fat stores. And that's what I'm going to do. But you want to integrate that heavy strength training in the gym, lift those heavy weights. Obviously, don't injure yourself. Incorporate HIIT training. A little cardio is great. I warm up with 20 minutes of either running my dogs or getting on the rowing machine. And then I follow it with some strength training and try to tease my body and confuse my body. That is what's going to get you some results. And walking will lower your blood sugar. Walking will lower your stress. It will increase your happy hormones, your oxytocin, especially if you're walking a dog, because you're going to get some oxytocin from that animal that you're walking. So you want to keep your stress levels low, increase that oxygen flow to the heart. And the stress is also going to turn the blood acidic. Remember, we want to keep our blood in the right alkalinity so it's not stealing that expensive calcium and magnesium from our bones, because then we're going to be left with some bone health issues. You can also incorporate some stem cell activation patches. Carnosine is needed and known to help reduce stress and relax the heart muscle. The X39 patch, that will help with all of your stem cell activation throughout your body and reset over 4,000 genes to your body. And if you're interested in the stem cells, email me. It's a little confusing on my website. There's not much information on there. So you can always email me to find out how to order them. The Energy Enhancer Patch, that also increases ATP. I also love my new Hiwi. It's a little device, and I'm going to be announcing it soon. It's a little device with right frequencies. You can use it for heart health, killing off viruses, fat burning, brain fog, hair growth, anti-aging, ATP. You come up with what you have to address, and that machine has over 60,000 different programs to wear on your body. You can wear it during your workout. You can wear it while you're sitting on the couch or working. And it is it has TENS pads that you put on your body, and it will put frequencies into your body that are going to help heal your body. So lots of information. What you need to remember is that your heart health is related to your liver health, and it's all related to metabolic disease, and everything is connected. Insulin resistance is a big factor. So with the Ascent Diet Cleanse, we start every first Monday of the month, and we're starting March 4th for the next one. So it's not too late to join. That is your tipping off point to make that shift in all of the areas, in the fatty liver, in the visceral fat, in the brain fog, in the insulin resistance, in the heart health, everything. Your liver and your gallbladder, it's all connected. So I invite you to join us. And there's so many amazing testimonials of people who have gone through my program and seen a major success and a major turnaround in their health. So I hope you are considering it. And thank you for joining us today. If you need help, if this is overwhelming, you don't know where to start, just email me through the website, sarabantahealth.com. I answer all the emails and I'm here to help. And join my free group coaching on Telegram. I will have all those links on the website, sarabantahealth.com. I share daily tips and tools to improve your health, and you're surrounded by an amazing group who are on a similar path to better health, and you can change ideas and exchange questions, and everyone is so supportive of each other. So you're not only going to gain valuable support, but also take significant steps towards taking charge of your health. And every little step is going to give you more motivation to take the next step. We're all on this journey. I'm not there yet, right? I've got things that I'm still working on. We all do. So we're all in it together. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Accelerated Health Products. And you can catch this podcast and all my podcasts on over 100 platforms, including Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. Just search for Accelerated Health TV and Radio Show. I'm on a mission to share my healing message with everyone who is ready to hear it. And you can help me with that goal by sharing this podcast with a few of your friends who may need my help. And remember, I'm live every Mondays and Tuesdays, and I post 1 or 2 extra ones every week. And be sure to visit acceleratedhealthproducts.com for the Ascent Diet Cleanse, for all the supplements we talked about. And you can use coupon WELCOME10 for 10% off site-wide. Thanks again for joining us here, and have a great week.